All right, guys. So I'm going to be a little honest with you right now. I just recorded a video and I literally explained my acid trip. Like, I mean, I can do it again because it's fresh in my head, but like, kind of disappointed because I recorded like 20 minutes. And I mean, it wasn't like 20 minutes of just explaining the acid trip. There were some other things too, but like, just frustrating. Just frustrating. I was like, I realized that I have to like save the movie file as a different file so that I can upload it to YouTube. And then I pressed cancel, realized I lost all the video. Anyway, starting fresh. So, like I said, I'm going to make a movie or a video about the description of the acid experience. And since it's fresh in my mind, I think I could do a pretty good job, like I did in the last video. Um, Now, this is in direct response to user TQ8. I'm not going to read the whole thing, man, but maybe you want to update your username. Anyway, he or she asked if I could make a video about what I actually experienced on acid, like visually, auditory, like through my senses. And the best way I'm gonna describe it right now is that it felt like an audience was watching a spectacle that ended in a huge finale. Now, in actual terms, what that means is from the start of the trip to the end of the trip, I don't know what my physical body was doing, like in the real world, but in like my spiritual body, I was literally just almost pretty much. I think I was experiencing like a slow euphoric death. Um, so basically, what happened was I took two tabs. I don't know the micrograms. I have no clue. Could have been. I think it was like either like 200 or 250 each, something like that. I don't know. I have this number 250 in my head, but I'm not exactly sure if that was it. It could have been less. I doubt it was more. That's a lot for one tab. I think. I think 250 is a lot. I don't know. Anyway, man, like I took two, and I was told by my pledge brother afterwards that like, oh, why'd you do that? Like, you should have just taken one and saved the rest and saved the other one for later. That way you can kind of have a longer experience but not so intense experience. Oh, cool. Thanks for telling me that after the fact I fucking tripped balls. Anyway, and there's going to be another reason or well, so I'm going to say before I get into a little bit more of it, if you ever get peer pressured into like taking acid, my best advice is don't take it without your music handy. You got to listen to music because that gives like an independent factor that like you can hear and you can experience more of like the euphoric experience and the actual experience compared to what happened to me because I was just spiraling down, and if you listen to music it kind of expands you out. Not that I'm condoning acid. I'm just saying if you ever get into the experience, like the situation where like, okay, maybe you want to try it, or maybe you get peer pressured into it, listen to music while you're on it. Best advice. Anyway, because one, like it grounds you while you're high, so, like, you can still feel high and grounded, which is, like, great. And but, the reason why I say that is because my friend who also told me after the trip, "Oh, you should only take one," told me that after the trip as well. And use discretion if you're gonna be high on weed while you take acid, because if you do, the weed will never be the same. It messes with your synapses. Like it it changes the chemical balance in your brain, and like you'll experience visual, auditory. Oh man, sorry, I have like this cough right now. Um, things that like you haven't experienced before, and you don't want to experience those things. So I would say nix to the weed on acid, but yes to music. Okay, back to the trip. So took the two, right? Then I go to my big brother's room. I'm in my fraternity, by the way. Like this is not my actual big brother, but like my big brother in the fraternity. And I go to my big brother's room and I sit in his granddaddy chair. I'm just kind of propped up in his chair, and things, we're all saying like, "Oh, what are we supposed to experience?" Blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, like I started falling back into the chair. Like it was like that, but it wasn't like a gentle one where I was like, "Oh, let's see what this leads to. Maybe I'll be okay becoming a chair." No, it wasn't like that. It was like you can get the fuck up out of the chair at about five, four, three, two, boom. Popped up out of the chair, almost like I was like a crackhead on the street looking for more shit. But I wasn't looking for more shit. I was like trying to get away from something, right? Like something was like felt like something was like watching me, like from every direction. And then all of a sudden, like like what I saw started like twisting and like turning and almost breathing. And I was like, holy shit, like, what's going on? And but I was still somewhat calm at that point. And then I was like going like back and forth between like looking at people and seeing them smiling at me and like not understanding what I'm thinking about it, to like just zoning out and just wandering the halls like all tripped out. So I was just walking around, and it felt like the amount of people kept switching between like no one and then just a bunch of people coming out of doors and kind of like morphing out of nowhere, looking at me, smiling. Um, I remember one of my brothers coming up out of the basement, looking at me and smiling. He was on the phone. He's like, "Yeah, we got one here tripping out. I think he's not doing too hot." And then like I started freaking out from there, and then it would kind of have like when I would freak out, it have like this euphoric feeling trying to calm me down. And then when I was feeling good, it would have like this reddish hue about it, like closing in on me. And I didn't like either one. So I kept flipping back. It was like I was flipping channels back and forth, trying to decide which channel I wanted to watch. And I didn't like either channel, but they were the only two channels that were on. There was no in between. So it really just kept going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And eventually the dynamic just died, and it ended with this like huge finale of just like me busting out of my fraternity doors, throwing my hands up in the like taking off my beanie and throwing my hands up in the air, dance walking down the front walkway of our fraternity, and like having like this imaginary crowd like around me, like cheering me on, and all this. Like there was like news reporters, there was all this, and it was like holy shit, like what's going on? And then all of a sudden, like, it started like going in and out of like reality and spiritual reality. And it was like I started saying, I looked back and I put my hands up, I was like, run, run, run. And I don't know what we were running from. I have no idea what we were running from, but I was like, run, run, run. And then everyone started running, but it was like we froze in time. And then all of a sudden, I just remember going, and then I was standing out in the middle of the street. And my brother was like, Chase, come inside. And I was like, what? What? And I snapped out of it. I came back and then I just went back inside. And I remember I just went back home to my dorm and smoked weed that night. But after that, like I would smoke weed in my dorm and then like I'd start freaking out. Like I think I'd hear voices down the hall, people knocking on my door, and I'd open the door and there'd be no one there. And then like I didn't know why, what, or anything that was happening. I couldn't process it, and everything was so different. I felt so much more judgment. I felt all this negativity around me, and I just crumbled inside. I just couldn't take it. So I had my mom pick me up from school. I was in tears. I was crying. I was like, I can't fucking do this. Pick me up. I gotta go to the hospital. We did a 3 hour drive back to Philadelphia, you know, got me to a doctor. I had a seizure at the doctor's office. They took me to the hospital, put me on an Ativan drip, which was that's a good feeling. Don't get addicted to Ativan because I said that. I will not endorse Ativan. I'm not a spokesperson or anything like that. But and then like I just started having like this feeling that I couldn't think anymore. I couldn't process. I couldn't, utilize my mind in ways that I just thought were God given. It was like God giveth and taketh away, and I was like, "What the fuck? Like, what just hit me? Like, you're not even gonna like let me seek closure in that?" And he was like, "Nope." So literally, that's been the last 12 years, just trying to find closure or at least peace in letting go. And the reason why it was so hard to let go of is that euphoric feeling right before I went was unfucking real. And what I mean by unfucking real is that, okay, yeah, like it might not have been real, but like the feeling that I felt was undeniably the most amazing feeling I've ever felt in my life. The most amazing. And not only did I want to know why that happened, but I also want to know, like, what what was that? Like, was that death? What was it? So, been kind of holding on to feelings like that, and never been the same. But I'm coming back to like a state of normalcy. I'm just saying, like, I've like, never been like the same as when I was smoking weed, like when I was like, "Oh, everything's fine, it's all good, like hunky dory, like I don't need to worry about anything." Now I worry about everything. I'm a catastrophe. Like I catastrophize everything, and I don't like it, but I'm getting used to it. So it is what it is. I hope that was helpful, guys. Please leave a comment, questions, maybe a suggestion on what I should do on my next video. I kind of want to get away from the acid trip a little bit. I kind of want to do more on like just kind of like updates on some mental things just so you can kind of see what's inside my mind, maybe help out some things that are going on inside your mind that you don't understand, and we can just kind of like bounce ideas off that, and we can just kind of steamroll our way into new and better videos. um but yeah, like I said, hope that was a helpful description. I think I did a pretty good job. um, I would say it's a pretty close to equal about the first video, and I will promise not to lose this file and upload this video. So I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.